What if this whole AI natural language chat GPT stuff completely changes how we think about reputation management? I actually think it is going to change the way that I think it's going to change reputation management, and I think it's going to change it in a way that you're not necessarily thinking of right now. I actually think probably the biggest risk to a change in reputation management is not the tool or the technology, but the fact that we as consumers are going to change our search habits due to this technology. So that's what this episode of the Second Opinion Loan Officer podcast is all about. I did a little experiment with reputation management, and I'm going to kind of go down this rabbit hole with you. I'm going to kind of show you how I got there and what I pulled from it. And it's interesting. It's not I wouldn't say that it's scary, but I would say that it's very, very insightful, and it absolutely changes the way that I think of what kind of content I publish and where I publish that content. So let's dive into this thing and let's get right to it. So um, this is this is my chat reputation, my chat GPT reputation experiment. And I'm using chat GPT right now. Just because it's the most accessible. Google's Bard is not available as an independent engine to be able to test, but I do have some information on Bard that I'm going to share with you at the end of this video. So natural language AI is absolutely going to disrupt the internet. It's not going to disrupt the internet because we're changing the technology again. I think that it's going to change the internet because this observational search results it's fire. People love it. When I say observational search results, now I read that term a couple of times when I was reading up, trying to get more information on Google's Bard, and that's what they're calling the search results. So essentially, you have a AI engine that can understand natural language, then it's going out to all of the source material. It's using the keywords in your question, in your prompt, and it's going out and it's finding it and it's observing all of the data about that topic, and then it's compiling that information into a natural language response that feels like you're communicating with a human being or with a person, but it's just a really, really wise wizard. But I love it. I mean, I'm kind of a tech geek, but I absolutely love it. And I'll tell you why everybody else is going to love it is because it's more convenient than a search engine results page. With a search engine results page, even if Google is amazing at giving you websites that might answer your question, you still have to click on that website and drill down to try to find the answer. Now, Google has been moving in this direction, and it's been moving in this direction because of the way that consumers were using the Google platform. So now we have auto suggest search, right? So when you start to type, it auto suggests what you're trying to type in. So about 24% of Google searchers will use that suggested auto search term. That's important. What we also find is we're starting to find the excerpts. That's an excerpt from a website that's at the top of the search engine results. And then we have the questions people also ask. So those are all there because of the behavior of how consumers used and interfaced with Google. So there's no question that natural language AI is going to change the way that we interface with search engines. It's also going to change the way that we receive the information and whether we trust that information, or whether we continue to go deeper and we dive deeper. So Essentially, where this started is I was doing some experiments, and I was doing some experiments where I was putting a URL for a company name in there. And I said, hey, we're going to be talking, we're going to be promoting this company in this copy. And I just put the link to the company in there. And what I was seeing is that the results were coming back, had a lot more information on the company that we were recommending, then so it was going to the link, it was going to the website, it was observing all the information, and it was compiling this information and returning it. Now, I went to the website to try to find the exact copy that it was returning, and I couldn't find the exact copy. I don't know where it got all of the information. All I know is I put a link in there, it went in there, and based on the information that it got, it produced an output that I found to be pretty accurate. So based on that, I started thinking, well, gosh, I wonder if I wonder what would happen for reputation management. I wonder how this is going to impact reputation management. And so I did a couple of experiments. The first thing I did is, hey, can you give me reviews on this company? Well, the natural language engines are not delivering reviews. So if you have Google reviews or Zillow reviews, it's not delivering those reviews right now. Now, remember, ChatGPT is an experimental platform. It is not a finished product, and it only has a data set in there up to 2021. So this isn't a finished product. It will be integrated into Bing eventually, and it's going to continue. I would think that it's going to continue to exist as a separate platform that we can engage with and use it for AI assisted content creation and things like that. So then I started thinking, well, man, how does that change if consumers are looking for us and they're using these natural language engines? What does that look like? So how would ChatGPT, I know how it's observing websites if I put in the link, but how would it observe me? If we're talking about observational results, which means it's scanning the internet, it's observing everything that's being said about me, and then it's compiling that information into an answer or a result that's then being produced. I wonder how would it look at a loan originator, because you can't argue that reputation management and reviews are important. And if it is important, and if consumers start modifying their behavior and their engagement with search engines, how is that going to change the way that they trust, research, and trust us? So let's dig right into it. So I asked it a series of 5 questions, and these questions, I kind of built on these questions, and I had different reasons for why I asked each question. And I'll unpack that a little bit. So the very first thing that I did is I wanted to put my name and my industry in there, because I know that there are actually a couple other Scott Shangs on the internet, which is surprising because when I grew up, I thought I had a wacky name. I'd never seen anybody else with it, but there's actually 2 people with my exact same name. And so I wanted to differentiate. I wanted to say, what does Scott Shang do in the mortgage industry? And this is what it came back with. Oh, we can't read that. Let's make that big, and I'll kind of go through it. I'm going to just kind of skim through this. This is what it came back with. Scott Chang is a well-known mortgage industry professional who has over 25 years of experience in the field. He's a licensed mortgage originator, founder of a mortgage company based in California. As an originator, I work with Shang. So this is an interesting thing. It starts using my last name in like this really informal and kind of uncomfortable way. It's a little bit funny, but it starts referring to me just by my last name, which is interesting. So as a mortgage originator, Shang works with clients to help them obtain financing for their homes. He helps navigate the complex process of getting a home from pre-approval to closing and works to ensure the best terms. So that's pretty generic. And then this is where this got interesting. In addition to his work as a mortgage originator, Shang is also an industry thought leader and educator. He frequently writes articles and creates video content about the mortgage industry, including topics such as loan programs, interest rates, the home buying process. He's also a regular speaker at mortgage industry conferences and events. Overall, Shang's work in the mortgage industry focuses on helping people achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing expert guidance and education on the mortgage process. Okay, that's really interesting for a couple of reasons. Um, the first reason why that's really interesting is that most of the content that I've created is not on social. So my blog is where I've put most of my information and most of my knowledge and most of my experience on findmywayhome.com. I've been doing that since 2007, 2008. And I also stopped originating a few years ago to start focusing more on creating products, basically to help people achieve what I achieved from doing content marketing for 15 years. And that's what we do at Find My Way Home right now. So this is really, really accurate and really, really interesting. So I asked it another question. What is findmywayhome.com? And clearly my fonts got screwed up, so I'm a little anxious. My I don't know what this is. My OCD is messing with me that my slides are messed up, but we're going to power through this. So I said, what is findmywayhome.com? Because that's where I have shared most of my information. I've been writing blogs on findmywayhome.com since 2008. So it's been a really long time. I put a lot of information out there. Find My Way Home is a website that provides information and resources related to mortgage and the real estate industries. The website was created by Scott Shang, a mortgage industry professional with over 25 years of experience. The site offers a variety of resources for people looking for a home. So essentially, this is a very, very accurate description of what we do on the website. If you're not intimately familiar with what we do on the website, that's where this whole second opinion loan officer thing came from. Is I work with the hairy stuff. I write content about guidelines that I know are complex. And it's not super complex. It's like variable income. Variable income, telemarketers that work at a mortgage call center don't really understand how variable income is going to be calculated or treated differently between Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, or USDA. So I write about those types of things that aren't super simple. It's just beyond vanilla. And I create this content because I know that the overwhelming majority of consumers that get caught in a call center are not going to have a good experience, and they're going to look for somebody that has more detail or has more information or more experience with their hurdle or their challenge that they're having. So this did a really good really good job of capturing the nature of my website. Here's the last paragraph. In addition to informational resources, Find My Way Home also offers a directory of mortgage professionals and real estate agents, which is not accurate, who can help users navigate the home buying process. Overall, the site aims to provide comprehensive and accessible information to help people achieve their goals of home ownership. So what's interesting about this, so it's not accurate about real estate agents. It is accurate about it being a directory of mortgage professionals that consumers can find. And we're presenting them as a alternative to the call center, right? These people are experienced folks that will give you a second opinion. That I don't know if that was completely up and running in 2021. It may have been, but this feels to me like it's real-time information because I gave it a website. So remember, the data that it already has is only up to 2021. and I would have to confirm this, but it feels like when I put the website in there that it pulled current information. That's not the important part of this. The important part of this is that for the most part, this is an accurate representation of both my experience as a mortgage in the mortgage industry and what my website does, what my website is. Those are two really, really important things. I can see a consumer in the future asking Google, what do you know about Scott Shang in the mortgage industry? So this was my next experiment. I have certain products that I'm super passionate about. One of them is VA loans, because so many consumers get told no because they go to a VA call center. They go to a VA call center with overlays, with DTI overlays, LTV overlays, credit score overlays. They have all kinds of things. So I'm passionate about the veteran community, and it's one of those loan programs that is so flexible that the veterans options really are limited to the experience and the effort that the loan officer puts into it. So I'm passionate about VA loans, and I created a lot of content around it. So I was just curious, what if somebody typed in my name and a loan program, what would come back? And here's what came back. Scott Shang is a mortgage industry professional who has extensive experience with VA loans. VA loans are home loans that are guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs. So it kind of describes that. Here we go. Shang is a vocal advocate for VA loans and has written extensively about their benefits for borrowers. That's important. He has also provided education and training to mortgage professionals on how to properly underwrite and originate VA loans. And I think that that's probably some of the videos that I did. And quite frankly, I don't create videos to help loan officers, but I've helped a lot of loan officers understand that veterans are an underserved and a community that needs to be helped. So really accurate, and I don't know where it got that information from. Let's see. One of the reasons Shang is a strong proponent of VA loans is because of their flexible eligibility requirements and favorable terms. For example, VA loans typically do not require a down payment, and borrowers may be able to qualify with a lower credit score than is required for other types of loans. Okay, so it's talking about that. Overall, Shang believes that VA loans are an excellent option for eligible borrowers who are looking to purchase. He encourages borrowers to work with an experienced mortgage professional who are knowledgeable about VA loans to ensure that they receive the best possible terms and service. Holy cow, that's good. I want to be known for that. I am going to hint at this again. I believe it is getting this information. So this is the experiment that I want you to do. I want you to type in these same questions and see what it comes back with. I'll wrap this up in my takeaways, but I suspect that the answers to all these questions, the responses to all of these questions, are because I'm not good on social media. All of my content is indexable on YouTube or Google. At least the majority of my content is. So that's really, really interesting. Next question. So then my next question is, I literally only typed Scott Shang reputation. Okay. And this is where I think it gets interesting. I could see going to the search engine and just saying Scott Shang reputation. Well, what does Scott Shang do in the mortgage industry? Oh, that's interesting. Let's find my way home. Okay, great. Well, what's Scott Shang's reputation? Scott Sheng has a strong reputation in the mortgage industry as a knowledgeable and experienced professional. He has this much experience, and he's built a reputation by providing expert guidance and education to borrowers, real estate agents, and mortgage professionals. Sheng, there we go again, well respected for his expertise on a wide range of mortgage related topics. Again, this has to be from all of the content that I put out there. In addition to his work as a mortgage originator and industry thought leader, Sheng is also highly regarded for his commitment to providing exceptional customer service. Okay. I mean, true, but super generic. He works closely with clients to understand their unique goals. I haven't originated in a while. That's inaccurate. My reputation in the industry is that of a highly skilled and trusted professional who's committed to helping people achieve their dreams of home ownership. Accurate. So this is interesting. So that's where I left off on this experiment. I went through that experiment and I was like, man, that was really interesting. I was very, very satisfied with those results. I wonder what other people's experience with this experiment will be. And I really like this was kind of eye-opening for me. And then the next day I was like, oh man, I didn't do the most important part. I didn't follow through with the conversation to the point of engagement, right? Because that's what we want consumers to do. And as I thought of this, what question would I ask? What's a normal question? And I also wanted to try to trick the system. How do I contact him? Like that leaves the door open for ChatGPT to produce any and all personal contact information that exists for me on the internet. So it was a little bit of that kind of test. Is it going to produce, social security numbers, credit scores, addresses, marriages? I don't know. What is it going to produce? How do I contact him? I like this. I this makes sense to me. It's not accurate, but I like the way that it produced it. If you'd like to contact Scott Sheng, you could do so through his website. That page does not exist on Find My Way Home. On the contact page, you can fill out a form with your name, email address. I do not have that form. Once you submit the form, Sheng or a member from his team will respond to your message as soon as possible. That wording is somewhere out there. I know that it is. So it's not 100% accurate. And that means that I am not 100% clear. What that also makes me believe is that I need a /contact page that has content on it. Right now, that's a 404. That page doesn't exist. So that means I'm going to go back and I'm going to build out that page just because I know this. It also says you can find me on social media platforms. I frequently share my insights about the mortgage industry. Also, if you're interested in working with me as a mortgage originator, you can reach out to my company website, which that's amazing. And that website, that contact form does have a form, and that form would be followed up. So that was accurate. But that was a relief. It didn't give any information. So it didn't give any personal information. It just said, here's where you can find him. So now this is another really important experience for you. Ask this AI model, ask this natural language model, how do I contact him or how do I contact me, and see what it comes up with, and then see if those results are truly how you can be contacted, and be prepared for that. Again, we don't know exactly how all of this stuff is going to work when these natural language engines get integrated into the search engines. And I'll go into that for a second, or in a second, but we do know that it is going to change things, and it is going to disrupt, and it is going to modify our behavior as consumers. So here was another part of this experiment. Now, the reason I did Taco Bell is because it's super popular, and you would think that you could find online reviews for Taco Bell because they're such a huge company. I actually did say my initial question was online reviews for Scott Shang, online reviews for Find My Way Home, online reviews for Buy Wise Mortgage, my company name, all of these different things, and it returned the same result. And this is the result that it's returning if we ask it for online reviews. It says, as an AI language model, I can provide some popular websites where you can find online reviews for Taco Bell. Google reviews. Visit Google and search for Taco Bell. then check out the reviews provided by their customers. Yelp, TripAdvisor, Zomato. Remember to read the reviews carefully and consider the overall rating and comments. So that was an interesting experience. That's interesting feedback to me. So it does not appear to me that a consumer is going to be able to say, give me online reviews, and that it's going to actually read the reviews. So that means that the natural language AI is going to produce a different type of result than what we're used to. All right, so let's look at this. Okay, this is a GIF. It looks like it's not doing its thing. So I don't know what I'll do with that, but I can explain to you what it is. This is a sample from Google's website about Bard. So Bard is Google's version of the AI. And this example on their website shows you exactly how natural language AI results will be produced if you type in a question. And so what this does is it types a question, and then it starts producing. Now, if you've been on ChatGPT, you know when it starts to type. So what happens is it starts to type, and it's pushing the search engine results page down. So the more it has to say, the further below the fold all of our normal Google results are going to be. So what that means to me is that the search engine results page that we've all been used to seeing for what, a decade now, that's going to be the new page too. So everybody knows that all the clicks and engagement happen on page one of your Google search engine results. So if this natural language result is going to displace the search engine results page, that's going to mean that those search engine results are going to require extra effort, extra clicks, extra scrolls, which means that it's not going to be looked at as much. At least that's what I anticipate. And so the question really becomes is this technology going to evolve the way that it is being used? And when I say that, I mean, how comfortable is the general Google user going to be with the natural language response to their inquiry? If the average Google user is more comfortable with the natural language response than they are with going through, like if they're ignoring that and scrolling through and continuing to click through and look at their own websites, like how they use it is going to train the technology. That's how the AI works. It pays attention to what you're doing, and then it modifies itself to do more of what you're doing. And that's what Google has always done. That's what their algorithm has always done. But that's something really interesting to think about. So what does all of this mean? And is this something that you can even prepare for? I think you can prepare for it. I think you should do this. I think you should do this experiment yourself. I think you should type in, I think you should ask people that know you to do this about you. Like ask them, hey, could you use ChatGPT to try to get information from me so that maybe the questions aren't biased by you, right? So if you're going to ask the questions, you got to understand it might be different from the way that a consumer would ask the question. If all a consumer knows is your name, your industry, and what company you work for, or your website, that might be all the information that they get from somebody that refers you to them. So, um, experiment. That's my number one thing. The next thing is publish Google and YouTube content. Um, I've been pushing on YouTube content forever. It is very easy to create YouTube content, get a transcription of your video, run it through ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to turn that transcript into a unique blog post that you can then publish on a website, on a blog site. So now you're being indexed on YouTube and you're being indexed on Google. And that is where the search engine crawlers are going. Currently, search engines do not go into social media sites. They can see your profile and it can present your profile on a social media site, but it is not going into your thread. It's not going into your conversations and learning anything about you. So if you've invested all of your time and energy into social, but you want to prepare for this, think about repurposing some of those conversations and some of that content and making that stuff available in the form of video content posted on YouTube, and any other site you can publish information on. Write for local newspapers and websites. If you work locally, if your market is kind of local to a geographic area, there are always local newspapers and the websites for those newspapers that are looking for content, that they're looking for expert input. So I would strongly encourage you to reach out to some of these local websites. And again, you can do one video. You can repurpose those videos. You can do one video. You can repurpose them into blog posts. You can use tools like ChatGPT to do that. And there's a lot of different ways to get your stuff out there. The next thing is update all your social profiles. Make sure, now this is reputation management 101, but check all your social profiles. Make sure your social profiles all are describing you in the way that you would want to be described now, because they are going to be searched and that information is going to be translated. It is going to be observed and translated into natural language. And then the last thing is really make sure you own your reputation. I've been both in the broker space and in the retail space as a mortgage originator. As a broker, we don't really have a choice. We have to have our own website. We have to have our own tools, our own tech stack, and all that stuff. But that also gives us the opportunity, quite frankly, to have our own internet presence, and to build our own reputation and own our own reputation. If you work for a retail company and you've always worked for retail companies and you've had a profile on the company website and that's all you've ever had online, I think you're going to see that lack of accessible information about you is going to be reflected if you try this experiment, and you're in that situation. So I would try this experiment, see what it comes back with. And I do think we can start preparing for that. And the way that we prepare for that is we create content that can be found on Google and YouTube. So that's it for my experiment, you guys. Again, my name is Scott Shang. What I do is I help you become self-sufficient for the future. I have tens of thousands of consumers come to my website every single month, organic traffic from Google searches, from people that are looking for a second opinion, and they've mostly been told no by other consumers. So what we do on findmywayhome.com is we match you with those consumers while we're helping produce content for you. And who you're seeing here is David Zai. He's an absolute beast on our platform. He has well over 100 videos that he's produced in the last maybe 18 months. And he's getting a consistent flow of inbound traffic and contacts and closing loans from people that already know, like, and trust him. So if you're interested in getting more information on that to see if we can assist with helping you to build that reputation, and help build up your reputation management through the creation of content, then feel free to reach out to me. There's links below in the description, whether you're seeing this on Spotify, if you're watching the video podcast, or if you're on YouTube. So hopefully that was helpful. This was a really interesting experiment for me. I would love to hear your results, your comments, your questions, and your input in the comment section below, or reach out to me or schedule a call on my Calendly link if you'd like to learn more about how we can help you moving forward with this. But I thought this was really, really fascinating, and I hope this piques your interest and helps you prepare for this paradigm shift that we are going to experience with our search experiences in the future. Thanks. We'll see you next time.